Brothers. I'm sitting here with the world heavyweight champion, Nick Bockwinkel. Again, Nick, it's delightful to have you down here after 6 years of trying to arrange an appearance, and we appreciate your making it possible on the schedule. Hope maybe you will be able to continue to stay throughout the show.
Yeah, I think we'll be able to manage it.
Okay. Hey, I do want to tell you a couple of things that are coming up that you should pay attention to. Tonight, there's a dynamite presentation coming on TV5 for New Year's Eve coming in. It'll be New Year's Eve from Overton Square. The King will be down there, and Dave Brown will be down there. A lot of folks from TV5 will be right down at Overton Square, and you'll be able to usher in the new year and see the fun and frivolity either live if you're going to be there, or on TV if you happen to be staying at home watching it. Also, tomorrow at 11 o'clock when Jerry Lawler's show comes on, Jerry will have the conclusion of the year in review of 1983, and I've had so many comments about the folks who enjoyed Jerry's first part last week. Wait, you ain't seen nothing yet, as the old phrase goes. That's tomorrow morning, 11 o'clock. By the way, next week we'll be back on at our regular time, and that will be, of course, 11 o'clock. At least I think right now we're scheduled to be back on at our regular time. Okay, let's take a look at the action coming up down at the Mid-South Coliseum of action. Well, there's Jimmy Hart.
You know what? This is the greatest day of my life. You know why, Russell? I'll tell you why, baby.
Tell me why.
You know what? Every family has a black sheep in the family or a weak link. You know what our weak link was? It was the grapplers. They were the losers, man. And now, no, they were, baby. They're the losers, and they always, because when you leave the family, you are a loser. But you know what? They wanted a hair versus mass match.
Right.
Well, I just want to say to Pork Chop Cash and Dreamer King, they believe in Jimmy Hart enough that they signed on the dotted line for a hair match. Well, let me say, baby, I love you guys. You've been with me for so long, and you are the bread and butter and backbone of the family. There is no way in the world you will lose your hair. I will be at ringside. I will be out of the office. It's the last thing I do. We will unmask the grapplers so you can see how ugly those goose really are. Right, Dream Beast?
That's right, baby. It's for all of the marbles, baby, down to the nitty-gritty, you understand? Mask versus hair.
Whoa! Bye-bye, Jimmy. The grapplers.
What kind of team is that, Les? Tell me, huh?
Well,
they're supposed to be bad and tough, right? Where'd they go, bro? They took that tail and ran.
Yeah, and I know who won the match. You guys won the match. Hart's saying you all were the losers to it. You guys won the match.
Eddie Marlin finally done us a favor. He booked this match trying to destroy the family. But what he done, brother, he let me know something about Jimmy Hart I didn't realize. It started out we had an agreement we were going to wrestle hold for hold, and the best team wins.
Right.
Then
Nobody gets mad. Scientific.
That's right. Then it come down, the loser of the match has to leave the family. When it come down to the nitty-gritty, and Hart's seen we were the better team, what does he do? He pulls a cane. Whop, hits me, right?
That's it.
That didn't work. He pulls a chain and tries to finish me off, and it backfired on you, Hart. And they lost the match. We said we quit the family because we don't be associated with losers, brother. And I want to tell you something. You're asking for mask versus hair? Let me tell you a little secret here, Daddy, about these masks right here. Me and my partner have been all over the world. We wore these masks everywhere we ever been. We got a big reputation wearing these masks right here, brother. This is a face of the grapplers. This is our recognition in the sport of professional wrestling. This is what we live for, brother. This is what we breathe. These masks right here mean more than money. They mean more than belts. They mean more than anything. And there ain't no man walking in the sport of professional wrestling that's going to take these masks off our face. And you can count on that, Hart. So you know what that means, Lance? There's going to be a couple bald-headed, bruised brothers walking around. And you know what, Pork Chop? You're going to look like Alfalfa or Buckwheat, and Dream's going to look like Curly Joe running around, brother. Get ready for it.
You hear it from the grapplers. We're going to see him in action here in just one moment. That's just one of the big bouts coming up tomorrow afternoon at the Coliseum. We'll take time out. We'll see the grapplers in the ring in just one moment. Struggling his way back. Jerry, welcome to the show. And, of course, you are well aware of our visitor here today, the World Heavyweight Champion, Nick Bockwinkel, whom you have met.
Excuse me. Let me tell you something. You know, we're scheduled to wrestle Sabu and I think Norvell Austin tomorrow. Well, I've been back there talking to Mr. Coffee, and I've talked to Eddie Marlin on the phone. And if it's all right with Hart, if he's got enough guts, he'll put them Moondogs back where they belong, back in the ring with us. and I know that you've said it'll be all right.
Cards changed. They will wrestle the Moondogs.
All right, so it's going to be the Moondogs against them then tomorrow. Card change. Have you got that?
Okay, and this is what? Sabu and Norvell will go down in here, and the Moondogs will be against Stan.
That's right. That's right. We want right back in there with the Moondogs. And I want to say this. I know the Moondogs are back there watching, and I know they're laughing. Well, you can come on out here now, boys, because I'm ready for you. I think you'll remember the last time we met you. I think we'll remember the last time that you went down to the hospital. Well, there's going to be a little repeat, only this time you ain't going to be coming back. You're not going to be running roughshod over this area because the fabulous ones are here to stay.
Well, Steve Kern, all right, again, the card's been changed. Fabulous ones are going to be going against the Moondogs at the Mid-South Coliseum tomorrow afternoon. Coming up in the new year.
The symbolic belt that they were talking about just a moment ago, and this is what it's all about. This belt will be at stake tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock when Nick Bockwinkel defends this belt against Jerry the King Lawler. Okay, Nick, I had asked you coming up on a bout, in particular, the one tomorrow afternoon where you're going against Lawler. Lawler does have a decision in the past over you. I was asking you about the butterflies and the nervousness and so forth like that about losing the title, and we got interrupted with a little scrap there.
Any professional who doesn't go into the ring with a certain degree of nervousness, he either doesn't care or he's quit inside. So that means that Mr. Lawler has butterflies. That means that I have them. It's anxiety. It's a combination of desire and everything that's going to go into all of your entire career. Mr. Lawler, you claim and you have this victory over me. Okay, fine. At this point, I'm going to say big deal. But what it really does come down to is when we crawl into that pit tomorrow, regardless of what was said here today, you and I know that once the bell rings and you slap me up alongside of the head and I slap you up alongside of the head, we're in the pit of hell. And as this man said, well, Mr. Lawler will go about and just do anything he can to come out on top. And that is bottom line, isn't it? And I will do anything that I must. So I doubt in my mind that you've got enough ability to make it a scientific match. I do. But when it's for the heavyweight championship of the world, get it. I'm going to do anything that's necessary, as he said earlier, like you, to come out on top of this.
Well, I know one thing, that regardless of the outcome of it, and obviously the folks of this area are interested in seeing Jerry the champion. It is going to be a whale of a fight. Thank you for being with us today.
It's your pleasure.
Nick Bockwinkel, the world heavyweight champion. And for Dave Brown, this is Lance Russell saying bye-bye, everybody. Again, Nick, some of the folks are not showing their southern hospitality, my friend, but maybe that's not their fault, but yours.
The roar of the crowd is not what I live by. Maybe Mr. Lawler does, but not I.
Okay, the world heavyweight champion, I'll tell you, regardless of what you got to say about him, he is the champion, he has been the champion, and it is going to be one whale of a bout tomorrow, because I know a man that wants to be the champion. Till we see you next week at the regular time, this is Lance Russell for Dave Brown.
Convention Center, the first big event of 1984. And right here in Little Rock, Saturday, January 21st, beginning at 7:30 at Barton Coliseum. Believe me, it will be big excitement. A Texas Tornado Tag bout in the main event. It's one fall, no disqualification. All four men in the ring at the same time. And those four men are the Junkyard Dog teamed up with Hacksaw Jim Duggan against Big Crusher Darso and Nikolai Volkov. You'll see a special challenge bout as Iceman King Parsons takes on Hacksaw Butch Reed. Brian Adidas meets Jim the Anvil Neidhart. And Joe Savoli and George Weingroff team up to take on the Midnight Express, managed by Jim Cornette.
You know, I always like to be the bearer of good tidings, Reeser Bound, and in this case, it's especially good news. You may or may not have known through word of mouth. Guess who the new Mid-South Tag Team Champions are? Mr. Wrestling number 2 and Magnum TA. And guess where the Mid-South Tag Team Champions, Mr. Wrestling 2 and Magnum TA are?
I don't know.
Well, I don't either, because nobody knows. They've been hiding ever since they got those belts. They had the cab waiting out the back door, and they ran off. Now, you know, I'm a very popular man. A lot of people like me. They look up to me. You know, intelligent, articulate, good-looking, wealthy. And a lot of people look up to me, and I talk to a lot of people at the matches. And I've said, who would you like to represent the people of the Mid-South? And you know what the overwhelmingly unanimous answer is?
What was that?
The Midnight Express. They don't want to be represented. The people of the Mid-South don't want to be represented by a guy that wears a sock over his head that's got something to hide, whether he was a criminal or a coward or kicked out of the army or whatever. They don't want to be represented by him, and most of all, they don't want to be represented by Magnum TA, some kind of frustrated sex symbol. They want somebody they can look up to, some real men like the Midnight Express. Remember that anybody out there that ever doubts that they are the greatest tag team in the world has to be a little loose. The Express, the best.
Well, he's exactly right.
Well, we got part of it. Let's take a look at some highlights right here. One of the Moondogs into the desk. Lane's head bounced off it. And the big Moondog laid on the deck after being slammed into the desk. Wild and woolly action. Stan Lane, an atomic knee drop from the Moondog. Biggest. Lane backdrops the big Moondog, and the other one being hammered by Steve Kern. What a brawl. Yowza, that's the way it was. With the Moondogs and the Fabulous Ones. And that little story is not completely over with. There's another chapter to go.
You better believe it's another chapter, but it's going to be Jimmy Hart's chapter. You know, I can't wait, Russell. Do you realize no referee? This is the kind of match
Coming
that we
Monday
dreamed
night,
of, baby.
they've got a match, Fab's Moondogs. There will be no referee in the ring.
That's right, no referee. That means no stopping the match, no disqualification. We can bring it. That means that Jimmy Hart can come out of the office, and I might can even get my feet wet with his cane right here.
Yeah.
You know, like I said before, Billy Superstar Dundee was my best friend in life. And Steve Kern cost him a loser leave town. Well, it's going to be getting even for him, but it's going to be getting even for everybody you've done to the family, Fabulous Ones. It's going to be our night. No stopping the match, no disqualification, baby. No referee. The International Roughnecks, the Moondogs, the greatest team in the world. We're going to rip his head over his eyes and break a few bones. I promise you.
Well, I can tell you one thing for a living fact. The Fabulous Ones won't be just standing there, not doing anything about it. It is going to be a wild and woolly match with no referee in the ring when the Fabs and the Moondogs get together Monday night. Dave, I think we're about ready for some more action in the ring. Let's get at it. Action. By the way, after it was over, I got a chance to talk to Bockwinkel, and he came up with an interesting thing. So let's watch the highlights, and then we'll listen to Bockwinkel talk.
uneducated. My opinion means nothing, but I know I'm a real good dancer. Don't need to look over my shoulder. See what I want. Everybody's got the problem. Ain't no moving here. I'm the same old girl. You've been having for years. Like a piece of diamond each day. It's perfectly clear. Just for human desire. To have you come here. For the third round round. You feel your breath in my ear. You can bend me, you can break me. Not too bad, it's been clear. It falls. Come tumbling down in the walls. Come tumbling, tumbling in the walls. Come tumbling, 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 tumbling down.
right now since the end of a World Heavyweight Championship match. And I think a lot of the fans have seen all of the excitement that takes place in a great championship match. They wonder, how long does it really take to unwind after the pounding and the beating, the excitement, and all the things that come out? We're sitting here in the dressing room with Nick Bockwinkel. He is one of the very few people still in the Mid-South Coliseum. It has been over an hour since the bout in which you defended the title against Jerry the King Lawler, Nick.
A lot of people ask, they want to know, how long does it take you to unwind? And in actuality, the pain of the pounding that I had to take still hasn't set in. Your adrenaline's still running too high. About 3 hours usually. About the time you're getting ready to fall asleep. And then, of course, the real hell comes when you wake up the next morning. A lot of people wonder what goes on right after a championship match. And I'm going to tell you, because as it has gone on many times in the past, it's exactly what has happened tonight. In this past hour, I have been informed, if you want to use the expression by my friends, associates, or stooges, that the phone of Stanley Blackburn, who is a man who I seem to have a terrible time to reach when I try to reach him, with problems I have, with things that need decisions made by the championship committee, but it has already filtered back to me that because of the outcome of tonight's match, because I accidentally struck a referee, that, needless to say, you're a promoter, and, of course, Stanley Blackburn, wanting to treat all of you nice humanoids properly, is talking about a rematch. Let's not kid each other. It's coming down the wire. They're pushing for it. There are those Lawler backers on the championship committee who want to see him the world's heavyweight champion. And I know this. Now, I'm going to propose something because I know the way the politics of my sport and my business works. I could put it off. I could put it off with all sorts of cute little things, not answering my phone, leaving the one city, going to the next, just avoiding people. It would take weeks before paperwork could be signed, and we could play all sorts of technical games. You know how the bureaucracy is. But it's going to come down. Now, somebody asked, how do you feel? Well, the pain in my jaw, the pain in my head is really bad. I can feel it. I'm still functioning, but tomorrow morning I'll probably be having soup for the next 2 or 3 days because I doubt if I'm going to be able to chew anything. And for one simple, pathetic reason. This great man, Jerry Lawler, who they think has the ability and the talent to be a world's heavyweight champion wrestler, I think everybody's missing the point. The name on the marquee is wrestling. On the World's Heavyweight Championship belt, it says wrestling. Now, in the first 15 minutes of this match that took place tonight, Lawler never saw daylight because I dominated it with wrestling. I used a forearm. I took, and a little later, used some more forearms. But no, not Mr. Lawler. All Mr. Lawler knows how to do good, and I'm going to tell you this right now, and you know it, and I'm sure you'll agree. Man throws a hell of a punch. Whoa. When I start sucking soup through a straw for the next 3 days, that'll be my testament to it. Only because I'm still hot and the adrenaline's still flowing through my bones and my body is the jaw working. I doubt if it'll work tomorrow morning because that's when the cold and the agony and the pain will really set in. Now, Lawler, if you couldn't punch, what would you do? I really want to know. And I'll tell you what, I've just perked the curiosity of all your cretinous humanoids sitting out there. They would want to know, what would you do? Now, I'm going to make it easy for Stanley Blackburn and your promoter. I'm going to take and bring this match, I'm going to move it up quick. If Monday night is open, it is for me, and you can put it together in the Coliseum, I want $500 a punch. Did you catch that?
Lawler to pay you and you to pay Lawler?
No. I'm making it easy by giving him a chance at the heavyweight championship again because I know they're going to try and shove it down my throat eventually anyway. So to entice it, to maybe bring it back a little quicker, make it happen a little quicker, rather than 3 or 4 or 5 months down the line, if you are willing to agree to $500 a punch. Because you see, Lawler, you probably got a very nice streak in your body, and you don't want to give up $500 a punch, not the way you throw them. And the point really comes down to this. You don't want to give up that much money, and if you can't throw a punch, you know what you can't do? You can't beat me, because you cannot wrestle, and I can. That's why I'm the world's heavyweight champion, and that's why you're a contender. So there it is. The option is yours, Lawler. Put it in your pipe, smoke it. And before this show is over with today, let's see what your answer is.
Well, it didn't take the king long. We'll be talking to him about that a little bit later on. Right now, we'll take time out. We'll be back in just a moment. One of the more sensational nights of action, and you note the start time, 7:30. There will be 9 complete bouts going on at the Mid-South Coliseum, and also you will note at regular prices. Opening bout will be Sabu going against the Jaguar. Terry Gibbs will be coming in. The match is so important that Stanley Blackburn, the president of the AWA, will be right down there with us at ringside to witness this World Championship match. Jerry, it is mixed emotions for me. I know you beat him. I had no question in my mind. All of us knew you had him beat. He deliberately got the doggone thing thrown out. And yet, it's a situation where you are agreeing to pay $500 for every punch you throw, and man, let's face it, you do have a dynamite right, and it has been instrumental not only in breaking bones, but in winning a lot of matches. What about this match?
Well, you have said you've named almost every stipulation on this match. Now, first of all, let me get something straight. It's true, $500 for every punch that I throw is a lot of money. I mean, it can add up to a lot of money. I would imagine that if I had to pay $500 for every punch I threw in the last match, I'd be completely broke right now. But there are a few other interesting stipulations that go along with this. The reason, mainly the reason that I agreed to this was, as Nick Bockwinkel said, it was the only way to get a return title match with him this soon. I would have, just like he said, had to wait weeks, certainly, and possibly months, and you know, who knows how long. But the way I've got it figured is that he likes to talk about what a great wrestler he is, and it's true, he is a great wrestler. And he likes to talk about the fact that I don't know how to wrestle, and all I can do is punch. Well, I'm not gonna deny the fact that I'm a pretty good puncher. I think so too. I'll agree with Mr. Bockwinkel on that. And I put a little calculator to it, Lance, and I figure that if I threw 20 punches, $500 a punch, that's $10,000.
Oh, yes.
Now, $10,000, believe me, is an awful lot of money.
Yep.
But at the same time, Lance, it's not a lot of money if you're talking about when you spend that $10,000, you get the World Heavyweight Championship. Now, what I'm saying is, I figure that I'm going to be able to have Nick Bockwinkel in the shape where I can pin him with 20 or less punches. That's what I'm shooting for. And the reason I'm shooting for this, and the reason I'm confident in this, is because of another little stipulation that you haven't let the fans know about yet, that they don't realize. There's always bargaining that goes on back and forth when you negotiate these title matches. Now, Nick Bockwinkel, it's true, I went to Stanley Blackburn. I called him immediately. I told him what happened. I said, I want another shot at the title. Well, then Blackburn had to talk to Bockwinkel. Bockwinkel said, the only way I'm going to give him a shot is if he agrees to pay $500 a punch. Well, when Blackburn came back to me with this, I said, I'll agree to pay $500 a punch if I can have a knockout-proof referee in there, somebody that I don't have to worry about if Nick Bockwinkel knocks him down. I still want him there to count those shoulders out. So we have got, as you saw on the card there, 2 referees.
Yes.
Now, one of them is either going to be Jerry Calhoun, Paul Morton, or one of those guys. That's okay. That doesn't matter. But the other one, and this is very interesting, and this is why I feel so good, and this is why I'll risk $500 a punch, because the other referee is going to be Austin Idol.
The heartthrob is going to be one of them.
Now, I know that Nick Bockwinkel is not going to shove Austin Idol around, and I know he's not going to punch Austin Idol and knock him down. If he does, Austin Idol is still going to be right there to count Bockwinkel's shoulders out. Now, I know how important this match is, and I think the AWA knows how important it is, and they know how big it is for the simple fact that Stanley Blackburn, the president of the AWA, is going to be right here in Memphis at ringside.
Yes, sir.
And all I can say is the last time he was at ringside, the AWA World Heavyweight Championship changed hands. Now, he knows what's taking place, and he's going to be there. And Nick Bockwinkel, I'm going to be there. And I'm going to have $500 for every punch thrown. And believe me, it's going to be the best money that I've ever spent in my life, because I'm not walking out of that ring in Memphis unless I have that big diamond-studded World Heavyweight Championship belt in my hands. That's a promise.
Okay, Jerry, good luck to you. By golly, you've thought it through. You know your strategy. And I'll tell you what, I'm convinced after the last meeting that this is the time. We're going to take time out, and we'll be back. Out here all the time, and I want you. Come out here. You've talked about all the matches with the Moondogs and everything else coming up. One match you didn't mention was the Austin Idol Joe LeDuc, and I bring that up because with Austin Idol getting past Joe LeDuc, he then gets Jimmy Hart in the ring for 15 minutes.
Okay, you got a film of Austin Idol? Show
Yes,
it right
I do.
now. I know you got a VCR. Show
Okay.
what he's got to say.
All right, let's take a listen to Austin Idol, a heartthrob.
You know, I must say I'm not really happy about what's happened in the life of Austin Idol the last couple of weeks in Memphis, Tennessee. You see, 2 weeks ago, some scrawny little skinny weasel by the name of Jimmy Hart took a blackjack out of his vest pocket and knocked me colder than a mackerel right in the middle of the ring. And of course, I had some all planned out real good for Jimmy Hart the following week. All I had to do, you see, was beat Joe LeDuc. And then I had 15 minutes to do anything else. But when Joe LeDuc comes to Memphis, he's on crutches. He says, I can't wrestle. Now, darling, what I think that's a flimsy excuse, you see, because I don't think Joe LeDuc was ever hurt in the first place. So they bring in some geek, they call him Sabu, and just when I got the sleeper on Sabu, LeDuc, all of a sudden, now he can walk pretty good, because he hit me right in the back of my noggin, Jack, and knocked me cold again. Now, that's 2 weeks in a row. And you know something? I don't like it. Now, I'm saying one thing, Jack, and you can take it to the bank. Joe LeDuc, you're big, you're bad, and you knocked off a whole lot of people, all the way from Tokyo to Japan to Memphis, Tennessee. And I'm telling you right now, darling, and you can bank on it, Monday night, I'm going to knock you off, and you know what that means? That means I'm finally going to get my hands on Jimmy Hart. And after I take you apart, Hart, I'm talking about taking you apart. I'm talking about ripping your clothes off. I'm talking about embarrassing you. I'm talking about making you look like the fool you are. And then I'm going to get the opportunity that actually warms the cockles of my heart when my good friend King Lawler said, hey, I want this one to make sure that ain't no referee gonna get knocked down. I want to make sure there's gonna be somebody that's big enough and bad enough can count shoulders and count three. Well, darling, I can count to three, and I'll guarantee you, when I see the king pin Nick Bockwinkel, darling, I'm going to count 1, 2, 3. The coin of phrase that Hart uses quite a bit around here. The greatest day in his life. Monday night is going to be the greatest day in Austin Idol's life. I'm going to beat Joe LeDuc. I'm going to beat Jimmy Hart. And I'm going to be the one to count 1, 2, 3. Grab that world's heavyweight title and pass it to my buddy, King Lawler. Monday night, I'm looking for a whole lot of action. This is going to be the greatest day in my life. New world's champion. I can't wait. Woo!
Austin Idol will be the second referee. He'll get past LeDuc, and he'll get Jimmy Hart in his pocket.
Let me tell you something. You might impress those people over there, Austin Idol, but you ain't impressing me, because in the ring will be my guardian angel, Big Joe LeDuc, baby. He'll do my fighting for me, and you'll never get me. And if you happen to, I promise you I'll be ready, baby.
Well, let's see what Joe LeDuc has to say about the whole thing.
Now I gotta come to Memphis and wrestle a second-rate guy, a bleach blonde guy, a musclehead, somebody that don't have no respect for nothing. Austin Idol, I'm going to show you. I'm going to teach you respect. I'm going to teach you what it is to meet your maker. When I tell you to go down, you go down. When I tell you to say please, please. This is the corridor of mendacity. Blondie, you're coming in the ring in Memphis, and my foot is right. I've been training. I know you've been eating turkey and stuffing and all of that. I know you got a wife and a little baby. You gotta take time for that. I don't have nothing, brother. All I've got is training and drinking beer. And be tough and be mean. Everybody think I'm tough. That's right. I am tough. All of you moron out there sitting in your living room. You don't think that I'm going to come to the Graceland City for peanuts when I'm through with you, Austin Idol. I'm going to get you, Lawler. You're going to have to sign it.
Box office in Jackson will be open at 12 noon tomorrow.
Ah, heard that. We'll be looking forward to having all of you bring out your families around the area. One of the matches coming up Monday night that we mentioned is going to be a bout that will have Dutch Mantell challenging the new champion, Randy Macho Man Savage. And we made a comment a little bit earlier, Dutchman, that Savage is no stranger to the Dutchman.
No, he's no stranger to me now. I understand he sent an interview in here and he said a lot of bad things about me, and I haven't heard it, and I want to hear it right now before I start talking.
Okay, let's take a listen. Randy Savage.
American heavyweight champion, the Macho Man Randy Savage. Yeah, Harry Taylor was tough, but I want you to be a fighting champion. Wrestle Dutch Mantell. Take on all the challengers, Randy. Don't be a closet champion. Let me tell you something. Macho Man is so strong, yeah. The Dutch Mantell, yeah. That's like an ant going up an elephant's back with rape on its mind, Dutch Mantell. No, man. Can't do nothing against the Macho Man, yeah. #1 professional wrestler, complete mental insanity, yeah. What a champion, Randy. You're going down in history as the greatest. Yeah. The greatest champion. I also broke this chair by sitting down. That's not bad, huh? Broke the chair by sitting down. Mid-American heavyweight champion. I beat Dutch Mantell with the pile driver. No, I can't do that. It's disqualification, man. I'll roll you up with a small package. But I want you to drop to your knees, man. Lance Russell in the ring. And I want you in front of nationwide TV. Don't ask anybody that the Macho Man Randy Savage is the greatest professional wrestler of all time.
Okay, let me say one thing right now. Monday night in Memphis, Tennessee is going to be a big night of professional wrestling. It's a new year, and everybody's going to try to make a new start in the whole new year right here. But I'm going to say one thing. I'm going to be out watching Lawler's match, I'm going to watch Idol's match, I'm going to watch the Fast match, but the match I'm interested in the most, of course, is mine. And I'm thankful for one thing, that they don't fine me $500 for every punch I throw, because I intend to knock Randy Savage's lights out right there Monday night, baby. Now, I'm going to say one thing. He's got a big reputation. I've had run-ins all across the country with this guy, and he is a certified nut, Jack. Really? But I'm going to say one thing, Savage. I want you to bring that big macho reputation, and I want you to climb in the ring, and let's just see if that macho reputation can hold up. Now, I've held that Mid-America title before. I've held it several times, and I intend fully, 100% to go out Monday night and try my dead level best to take it back, because, Savage, I am looking for you, baby. I got you in my size, and I intend to lay you low Monday night. And when I'm looking, I usually find somebody. And, Savage, one more thing. If you're anywhere listening to this TV, I'm going to be in Jackson, Tennessee tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Don't forget it. I want you to show up, baby, because we got a score to settle, and there's only one way to settle it. That's inside the ring. You show up. I'm going to be there.
Good luck to you, Dutchman. We're going to be looking forward to that little confrontation. I've heard a lot of guys that had it going on the track, and they were going to do all of this and that. They ran into the Dutchman and found out that it's a whole lot easier said than it is done when you start talking about taking care of that gentleman. We're going to take time out right now, regroup, check our time.
But the crowd's in bad shape. As now the referee being abused, it's got to the point where I believe I see that Stan Lane is busted open by the bone. Steve Kern is too.
We're 7.5 minutes into the action, and Steve Kern, who really has been waiting to get in there, going at it. I tell you, Monday night, all the bouts that have gone in the past will be behind them. It's all going down Monday night because it's a no time, no disqualification, Southern Tag Championship, and the loser leaves town.
You know, every time the Fabulous Ones have gotten in the ring with the Moondogs, there's nothing but blood, sweat, and tears. And I'm going to tell you something. We don't look forward to getting in the ring with these guys, and this is going to be the last time. This is going to be like the last tango in Memphis, because we're not going to get in the ring with them again. This will be the last match. Not only will it be the last match, it'll be the last appearance of the Moondogs in this area, because one thing we're going to do is we're going to beat them right in the middle of the ring for the loser leave town, and they're going to be gone. We're sick of having to get in there, fight for our lives every time we get in with the Moondogs. This is the last chance. Jimmy Hart, you better fire them boys up, because we plan on being here after this week.
Well, of course, not only the titles, but even bigger than that, Stan. If you don't beat them, it means bye-bye to the Fabs. We're here.
Lance, you got to give the devil his due. I'm going to say right now, in front of all these people and the millions of people that are watching right now, those guys are probably the toughest team that we've ever faced. They're not the greatest wrestlers. They wouldn't win any awards on wrestling ability. But when you get them in a squared circle, and you've got things around the ring like chairs, boards, tables, all kinds of stuff that they'll use, they are tough. There's no doubt about that. And Steve and I have gone through about 6 or 7 months of hell every time we stepped in the ring with the Moondogs. Like Steve said, Monday night is the big one. It's going to be Armageddon. I don't know if they're going to carry some of us out or all of us out, but one thing is for certain. We don't want to leave here. The winner will be staying here, and the winner will have the southern straps around their waist. There's a lot at stake Monday night. Somebody's going to get hurt. I hope it's not Steve and I. We're planning on staying here for a long time, Lance. We love all the people here. They support us through thick and thin. And Moondogs, pack your dog houses up. You're leaving town.
By golly, good luck to you guys. I'll miss you if you get long. And I don't want to be lonely around here, so be ready, will you? Stan and Steve, the fabulous ones, in a loser leave town match with the International Roughnecks. Believe me, that is going to be some kind of a confrontation. Right now, let's go to the ring and meet Mr. Ebony. Hey, Jip Wrestling, and we'll be to it in a moment. Jimmy Hart, the International Roughnecks, the Moondogs.
Well, listen, look at those signs. Don't bother me at all, baby. You know what, Russell? This is going to be the greatest day of my life. I feel so good. Can you imagine? You know what? The fabulous ones seem a little scared out here. Did you listen to them a while ago? Did you hear Stan Lane going, you know, we love the people. Hey, we love the people too, don't we, Moondogs? We love the people. Let me tell you something, baby. An era in professional wrestling is over right here in Memphis, Tennessee. You know, the fabulous ones came on the scene, and everybody was so excited. They brought all their little videotapes and riding in the big shiny cars and their motorcycles. But you see, guys, that don't win matches. You know what? In my heart, I really hate to see these guys leave, because they've made Jimmy Hart and the Moondogs a pocket full of money, baby, because all these stupid people over here came to see the fabulous ones try to whip the Moondogs, but they just couldn't get the job done.
Oh, you're
now, we've got a match. Like I said, it is over. The era is over of the fabulous ones. The match. Can you believe it? A dream come true for me. The greatest night of my life.
No time,
no disqualification. Loser leave town, but also the winner gets the Southern Heavyweight Championship belts, right or wrong.
On the line.
Like I said, fabulous ones, you know, they seemed a little scared. Didn't they act nervous to you?
Well, now, you're just imagining.
No, I'm not imagining anything. You're imagining it. Let me tell you something right now, Fabs. Please bring Jackie Fargo with you, because after we defeat you, I don't want Eddie Marlin calling me on the phone making excuses like, will you give them one more shot, because it won't be any more shot, right or wrong. It's over. Loser leave town, you are gone. Like I said, an era is over. The Moondogs and Jimmy Hart will be the new sex symbols in professional wrestling over here, baby.
Really?
Come on, Moondogs.
Jimmy Hart, the International Roughnecks, the Moondog. Don't wave goodbye to him prematurely, Jimmy. Okay, let's go to Dave. We're ready to meet King Konga. Now we're going to be facing him. Robert, how you doing, partner? The Rock and Roll Express, Rick. Good to see you. We were just sitting here looking at the tape of the World Tag Champions in action in there, and they're pretty impressive, no doubt about it. Before we get talking with you guys about the bout coming up Monday night, I'd like for you to listen to what the World Tag Champions had to say about this bout coming up Monday night.
Memphis, get ready. Big AWA World's Tag Team Championship match coming up between the Tag Team Champions, Ken Patera and Jerry Blackwell, against none other than the Rock and Roll Express.
You know something? I threw out a lot of challenges, and the first one was to Jerry Lawler for a partner of his choosing. And he couldn't find a partner because he's scared to death of Jerry Blackwell and Ken Patera. And then I threw out another challenge for the fabulous ones. They backed out. And the only team that had the guts to follow up on the challenge was the Rock and Roll Express, Robert Gibson and Ricky Morton. Well, boys, the Rock and Roll Express is going to be derailed once and for all. I'd like to introduce at this time Sheikh Adnan El-Casey from Baghdad, Iraq, the man that made it all possible for Jerry Blackwell and myself to become the AWA World Tag Team.
أهلاً وسهلاً بك أيها الأخ العزيز. You know, Mr. Ken Resnick, the Arab people had invested $1 billion in America and around the world. And that was some type of investment. But this investment here for the tag team champion of the world, no money, no oil in the world could replace it. The tag team championship of the world, and 800 million Arab people are proud of His Highness and Sir Lawrence. And I am so proud of myself and 800 million Arab in the world. لا إله إلا الله محمدا عبده ورسوله إن البطل العربي عدنان القيسي. And all it means, Masari, my man.
470-pound Jerry Blackwell.
Well, let me tell you something. Everybody in Memphis knows me, and they know my partner very well. And we're coming down there giving the Rock and Roll Express a privilege to get in the ring with two that's on the very top of the heap. When you become the AWA World Tag Team Champions, you're the best in the world, bar none. And when we walk all over y'all boys, y'all gonna realize, y'all gonna say, they are the best in the world. And then, Lawler, if you can get a partner, if you got any guts, maybe you'll get in the ring.
Hello! Memphis, get ready. The Rock and Roll Express against the heavyweight tag team champions of the world.
And I've seen guys before that took the Rock and Roll Express a little too lightly, and that may be what's happening with the world champion, fellas.
Les, you understand anything of that?
Not very little.
Let me tell you. You know, these guys here may be big and they may be bad, and I got to say they are the world's tag team champions. But, brother, one thing that we lack, we got speed and we got agility. And when we step in that ring, I'm going to tell you, in Memphis, Tennessee, these guys are going to have one of the biggest surprises you ever seen in your life. But, baby, we're going in there, and we're going to win, baby. We're tired of being down on the ground. The Rock and Roll Express is coming for one thing, brother, and that's to put those world titles around our waist. Woo!
You know that the fans will love it, Robert, so good luck to you out there, Monday.
Well, appreciate it, Lance. I hope they come out there and just think we're underdogs. We're going to go out there and do one thing, so we're going to pin their shoulders to the mat.
The R&R, and there they are, Rick and Robert. Boy, I can tell you this, they have surprised a lot of teams that took them a little lightly. Let's take a look at the action coming up completely down at the Coliseum. Night of Champions is absolutely correct. The starting time is 7:30. Bill coming back in, Jimmy Hart. He's got plenty of activity coming up Monday night, and I'm certain we'll be hearing from it. Yes, you know, Jimmy Hart.
First of all, I want Eddie Mullen to come out here right now because I want to knock his false teeth out of his mouth. You know, what's he trying to do? You know, he had my Bruise Brothers against the Grapplers, and now he's got the A-Team against the Bruise Brothers. You know, he's trying, let me tell you something. I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to destroy the family, but it's not going to work this time. I am telling you, baby. You're going to see a clean, scientific match, and I promise you this time, Russell, I'd like to hit that old man one time. I promise you this. He's in my hair. He's driving me crazy. But let me just say this. Let me settle down for a second. I just returned from Hollywood, California this morning. You see this right here. If I'm lying, I am dying, baby. Universal Studios. Get a close-up of this. Where I went out there to see my good friend, Killer Carl Crew. Get a shot of this body, baby. Get a shot of it now. He was doing a little picture out there, and I said, Killer, I need you. I need you here. He said, what's the mission? And I said, you need to get rid of Jerry Lawler for me, and I want the Southern Belt. And, baby, here he is right now.
Hart, I thank you for the opportunity to one more time apply the German claw to Mr. Jerry Lawler, sir. And I am deeply grateful that the opportunity has once more presented itself. Mr. Lawler, you remember the claw, and I will be the new Southern heavyweight champion, Mr. Lawler. It will be it. It will be. That's what it was.
Ooh, see, I told you before.
European champ,
That's
Carl
right,
Crew.
baby. They all come back to me sooner or later. But now, Austin Idol. You know what happened to me last week? I was humiliated. I was embarrassed. You know, in this little sack right here is what's left of my $650 tuxedo where I was stripped and humiliated in the middle of, I could have been arrested for indecent exposure after Austin Idol took all of my clothes off of me. And you're laughing about it. Don't laugh at me. Well, let me tell you. You shut up over there. I don't want to hear it. Let me tell you something, baby. Sabu The wild man, Sabu, is going to have a back alley street brawl. Am I right or wrong?
That's exactly right, with Austin Idol.
And he's going to be fully dressed, Austin Idol, fully dressed, this man right here. But we're going to humiliate you before we beat you, because you see, it's also an international championship match.
Right.
Am I right or wrong?
True.
But he's going to come fully dressed just like you, Austin, and we're going to strip all of your clothes. So, you know, Austin thinks he's so cool. You know, he takes pride in that big upper body when he comes out with all those muscles. Well, let's see if you take pride in your lower body, baby, after we strip you off in the nude right there in the middle of that ring, baby. But this is Sabu, and we're going to do one thing to you, right, Sabu? We're going to hit him. We're going to hit him. We're going to beat him with everything we can do. You understand that? And I will humiliate you like you did me. Killer Carl Croup. The Moondogs, Sabu, it's going to be the greatest night of our life, and I promise you that. Come on, guys.
Oh, Jimmy Hart about to have himself a little heart attack right there over all the activity. But that's just a part of the Night of Champions that'll be taking place at the Coliseum Monday night. Sabu, Killer Carl Croup in action. We're going to take time out, and we'll be back in just one moment. Look at some of the highlights of it right now. Bockwinkel on Lawler with a sleeper hold. Dumps Bockwinkel on top of the referee. Lawler showing just how dead game he is. Look at him with his left hand. 2 more, 3. And Calhoun is hurt. Referee Paul Morton coming up to help him. All 244 of Bockwinkel fell right on the referee. Lawler pounding despite the pain with that right hand. Here comes Jimmy Hart. Paul Morton tackles him as he was coming into the ring. Once again, Bockwinkel with a sleeper. Lawler shakes him off. He shook him off, and now he's got Bockwinkel. Hart fighting with referee Paul Morton. He's suplexing back into the ring. Here's Austin Idol. 1, 2, 3. He got him.
Wait a minute, Mr. Morton. You're the referee. He was on this side of the ring. He was thrown over the top rope. And that stopped everything.
Did I get the title back?
I'm going to hold the title up.
What do you mean you're going to hold it up? Hold it up for what? No way. There's no way for you to.
I'm holding it up. We're going to take it before the committee, and I've got a tape of the whole thing. He threw him over the top rope right there. And
you cannot. He cannot hold up the title. He cannot. I'm supposed to be the champion. I'm the champion.
What he's saying is true. I know what he's saying in there, but...
And it'll show up on the tape. It'll show up on the tape. The committee will look at it with me, but I saw him throw him over the top rope. You no longer have the title. It's being held up. Maybe you've got it, and maybe Mr. Lawler's got it, but it's being held up for the time being.
Yeah, that's exactly what the decision by Stanley Blackburn, who is the president of the AWA, he made the ruling, and of course the committee did in fact take a look at the tape. There he is, the king. He was certainly directly involved, and Jerry, I just knew that was it. You had him. You beat him right there in the middle of the ring.
Well, you know, it really gets disappointing after a while, because it seems like every time I wrestle Nick Bockwinkel, I come out here the following Saturday, and you're saying, and the fans think, and I feel like, that I beat Nick Bockwinkel, but I never have the belt.
Yeah.
And that is what is really discouraging and really disappointing. And, you know, this was just another time, another opportunity, and these opportunities don't come that often to get a world title shot. And it's another one that's gone by the wayside, because I did have the man beat. I did have him pinned, but then to lose, or not to lose, but to lose the belt on a technicality. You know, even though they held it up for the time being, then the word comes down yesterday that the championship committee viewed the film, and they decided that he was thrown over the top rope. It certainly wasn't intentional. All I know was he was on my back, had the sleeper hold on. I just tried to get him off the same way I did originally, suplexed him back in the ring, and pinned the man. But they say because he went over the top rope that, you know, it was a disqualification at that point. And so, you know, I'm standing here without the world heavyweight title again, is what it boils down to. And after that, I also, of course, asked for an immediate rematch. And now Nick Bockwinkel is apparently doing what he said he would do before. He's stalling. He's told Stanley Blackburn that he's going to take some time off. He needs a rest and all of this sort of garbage. So, you know, it may be quite a while before I get another shot at Nick Bockwinkel. In the meantime, though, you know, it's something that you could just, I could sit around and dwell on, or either I can try to go forward, and that's what I'm going to do.
Life goes on.
And I do still have the Southern Heavyweight title, of which, you know, if I don't forget about the world title, I may not have this very long with people like Killer Carl Krupp back in the area. And you see, Jimmy Hart, I don't know where he found Killer Carl Krupp. He said he found him out in Hollywood. Did you people see how ugly Carl Krupp was? Well, he almost didn't make it here today because on the way over, Hart was driving him over, and Krupp stuck his head out the window of the car, and he got arrested for mooning. Now, that's ugly. But anyway, I want Hart to realize, and I want Krupp to realize, that I have a score to settle with Killer Carl Krupp, because back when I had my leg broken, Killer Carl Krupp ran roughshod over everybody in the area, and I had an opportunity to make a comeback at that time. My leg, I was about 90% healed, and I foolishly at the time went in the ring with Krupp too soon.
Remember it
and
too
he
well.
did a number on my leg and put me back out for about another 3 months.
Yep.
Well, Krupp, I'll tell you what, brother, I don't forget. I'm just like an elephant. You see, I got a heck of a memory, brother, and I remember that ugly mug of yours, and I remember it sitting when I sit laid up with that broken leg, and I'm going to remember it when I get in that ring with you Monday night. And if you think for 1 minute with that little pea brain of yours that you're going to walk out of there with this Southern Heavyweight title around your waist, you got another think coming, jerk, because I'm going to do something that may seem impossible. I'm going to, with my fist, make you uglier than you are now, because I'm going to rearrange that face of yours, and I'm going to beat you to a pulp. And Hart, I want you to stick that nose of yours close to the ring, because I got a little bit of this for you too, jerk, and I'll make you look just as ugly as them mugs you managed. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Okay, Jerry, I think you hit a nerve, and the folks would like to see that done. Lawler and Killer Carl Krupp for the Southern Heavyweight bout. One of the Night of Champions with no increase in price. Let's go to the ring. Here come the R&R. Dutch going right back at him into the ropes. Shoulder puts Savage down. Dutch over the top. Good leapfrog. Whoa, he went up, and Mantell waited, nailed him when he... Pops that right hand. Watch out. Macho Man on the top turnbuckle. Drops down with both hands right on the neck. And the Dutchman fired in. Big clothesline, and winding up the stair steps of the turnbuckle. Savage from the top rope comes off and is caught with a right from Mantell fighting his way back. Dutch Mantell going with that atomic knee. Dutch's hat. Now, let me tell you, you can do a lot of things, but don't be smashing Dutch Mantell's favorite Western hat.
You wanted the Macho Man Randy Savage Mid-American Heavyweight Champions? Attention, Dutch Mantell. Well, you got it. You can thank me all you want for not having your head in the hat when I smashed it. Yeah, smashed your hat, Dutch Mantell. But It ain't gonna make any difference, Dutch Mantel, because you're in the danger zone now, yeah. You mess with the Macho Man! And that's different from messing with anybody else, Dutch Mantel. You obviously don't know me. You obviously don't have the certain respect that you should have for the Macho Man, Randy Savage. But I'm going to teach you that respect, yeah. You're in the danger zone, Dutch Mantel. No time limit, no disqualification. Mid-American Heavyweight Championship belt on the line. Yeah, and that's what makes me tick. Dutch Mantel, you're in the danger zone. Monday night at Memphis, Tennessee. Going to teach you some R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Respect for the Macho Man.
Savage, this week we got a no time limit, no disqualification match, because that's the only way you won it last week. And I don't take kindly to people messing with my equipment or my property, and that's exactly what you did. Now, this is a hat I've had for several years right here, and I wear it on occasion. But you showed a total lack of respect, Savage, when you stomped it right in the mat. And I'm going to say one thing. Since you've laid your filthy, stinking hands and foot on it, I'll never wear this hat again, baby. That hat will go in the garbage can because I'm not going to touch it. But, Savage, I want you to bring Monday night, I want you to bring that big macho reputation one more time is all I want. One more time you bring it into Memphis. And one thing also bring that Mid-America belt and bring that old, ancient, stinking old man of yours, baby. Bring him in there. And when I win that belt, I want you to take him and that old man and get in that old Mercedes that's about 150 years old and haul it out of town, because I want you out of my hair and out of my life. I've held that belt before, and I fully intend to get it back. Savage, you show up Monday night, because I'm going to come looking for you, and when I'm looking, I usually find somebody, and I'm going to find you Monday night, Macho. You show up. I'll be there, baby.
Well, I don't think it comes as any surprise when I tell you that Dutch Mantel has a habit of doing what he says he's going to do, and that's going to be interesting to see. One thing about it will be one whale of a bout. Two tough guys, Macho Man and the Dutch